Okay, that's better. All right, so the recording will be shared on the program website, which I'll share in the chat, but also I will put the recording in our workplace group, in the faculty development community of practice workplace group, which will only be around now for a couple more months, at least in workplace. After this year, we'll be migrating to a new home. And so we don't have the details about that yet quite sorted out, but as soon as we do, we'll definitely share that with the community. Maybe at our next meeting, I'll have a little bit more to share about that. So anyway, take it away, Jamie.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Appreciate the opportunity to share our professional development programming with you. It was really an exciting program that we had. So I'm Jami Murphy. I'm an associate professor at the School of Nursing at SUNY Delhi. I'm the coordinator of the professional development for all of our programming, the pre-licensure, RN to BSN, dual degree, and master's in nursing education and graduate and administration. So I'm going to be discussing a 4-part series given by one of our former adjuncts in the RN to BSN program, Dr. Lynn King, titled Creating a Caring Environment in the Digital World of Learning. So Dr. King has taught in nursing education for over 30 years, with the past 10 years teaching in the online environment. She has experience designing and teaching in a caring holistic framework. And she was the director of nursing education at the University of Maine at Augusta, which she created their holistic caring curriculum. She is currently a professor teaching in an online graduate nursing program that also has a caring holistic framework. The programming was delivered between December of 2020 through June of 2021. So this program was sponsored by Sigma, Delhi's Chi Tau chapter, which is an international honor society of nursing. And Sigma paid the fees to establish continuing education units for RNs who attended the session. So I created a brochure to circulate among faculty, staff, and advisors in our School of Nursing, as well as Sigma members. The brochure included a summary of the programming, Dr. King's credentials, and the dates and times of the presentations. All sessions were recorded for those who were unable to attend. Attendees who were at the live session were able to earn continuing education units, RNs actually. Though due to the nature of the breakout sessions and polls that were part of the programming, those continuing education units could not be obtained. So I also created a Weebly website, and I just want to, hopefully this will work here. Do you see my screen here?
No, right now you're just sharing your PowerPoint, so you probably need to,
it doesn't show.
Reshare. Yeah.
Yeah, I did try practicing it, but anyway, it really was great. I was able to share this website, and as it says here, to just kind of share the learning outcomes, the sessions, and also they registered for the event. So I was able to find out the roles of the faculty and staff that were attending, what program they worked in. So it gave Dr. King and I an idea of who was attending. So in order to fully grasp and appreciate the core focus of Dr. King's programming, I'll share a brief summary of Dr. Watson's caring theory. So Dr. Jean Watson is a nursing theorist who is best known for her theory of human caring, publishing multiple editions of her theory, Nursing, the Philosophy and Science of Caring. Since its publication in 1988, she has authored over 20 books on caring, and her research on caring has been incorporated into academic clinical settings at hundreds of nursing schools and healthcare facilities worldwide. The theory of human caring centers on patient care that involves a more holistic treatment for patients, as opposed to just using science to care for and heal patients. The theory incorporates art and science of nursing and includes concepts from the fields of philosophy, ethics, ecology, and mind, body, spirit medicine.
I can log in to talk to my own.
At the center of Watson's theory is the notion of being more attentive and conscious during patient interactions. These approaches allow for more effective and continuous care, leading to a deeper personal connection with others. So in 2008, Dr. Watson founded the nonprofit Watson Caring Science Institute. This institute offers several educational programs, free online global programs, affiliations with healthcare institutions, and much more. At the time of this programming, Dr. King was a student in the Caritas Coaching Education Program. This is a six-month professional development program that incorporates online instruction, 2 on-site seminars in Colorado, virtual small group intensives, and an assigned Caritas coach faculty member. Dr. King's final project for this education program was this 4-part series she presented to our faculty and staff in the School of Nursing. So Dr. King is an expert in Watson's caring theory, though just to be clear, I am very familiar with Watson's caring theory, but I'm not an expert. So I can probably answer most of your questions, but just so you are aware. So some of the core concepts of the theory of human caring science are as follows, and they are integrated into the programming. So a relational caring for self and others, a transpersonal caring relationship, caring occasion, caring moment, multiple ways of knowing, reflective meditative approach. Caring is inclusive, circular, and expansive. Caring changes self, others, and the culture of groups and environments. And Watson's 10 Caritas processes, which are weaved throughout the programming. So the learning outcomes, which there are 4. So the students will express a personal caring philosophy that aligns with the teaching learning role, and for our advisors, advising our students, right? Describe why practicing self-care daily cultivates personal, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Identify multiple ways of knowing in teaching and learning that support the development of transpersonal caring relationships. And lastly, demonstrate how to modify the digital classroom by integrating caring science language in all communication. So for session 1, handouts were given prior to the session on the core concepts of Dr. Watson's theory, which I mentioned earlier. Attendees were asked to complete a self-care assessment, and they were also given a self-care covenant to complete after the session. So we opened with a brief centering meditation. Dr. Lynn, it was just a 5-minute quiet, peaceful centering. And then we began with an overview of the foundations of caring science. So Dr. King reviewed those core concepts that I discussed earlier. And one of the foundations of caring science is intentionality of authentic presence. So this incorporates listening to and honoring one's story without judgment, preserving a person's wholeness, dignity, and integrity. So we discussed authentic presence in our interactions with students and also with our colleagues. We talked about how we can use these skills during email communication, grading student work, before and after clinical or practicum conferences, and during collaboration on projects with colleagues. Authentic presence has great potential to transform the student-teacher relationship, including others we interact with throughout the day, even personally at home. And so the next topic we talked about was the transpersonal caring moment. This is a mindful, intentional act where one chooses to be fully present in the moment. Caritas process number 5 is authentically listening. This allows for expression of both positive and negative feelings. So during these transpersonal caring moments, we are respectful of a person's dignity, their wholeness, which can become a transformative turning point for healing. And for us as educators, advisors, and colleagues, it can bring about a more meaningful relationship that offers support and helps people feel acknowledged and accepted and understood. As we know, our students and colleagues are struggling with many difficulties right now, and caring moments can be critical to reducing anxiety and overwhelming feelings. I've been a nurse for over 35 years and have experienced many caring moments throughout my career, and they really were life-changing. They molded me really into the person I am today. We know our experiences impact us throughout our life. For example, when I was in clinical practice, I can recall so many patient interactions from decades ago. I can just recall them now. They were so meaningful, where like my caring, my authentic presence and authentic listening really created those caring moments. And it gave my patients the opportunity to really share and talk about what's going on for them, to cry, to grieve. At the time, I wasn't familiar with Dr. Watson's theory, though reflecting on my experiences, I was clearly embodying these concepts of her theory throughout my everyday work. Even with teaching online students, I always make a point to pause and prepare for a call, or when I write an email to a student, especially one that's really in need, who is struggling. When I'm on the phone, I often close my eyes to block out any distractions so I can listen attentively, authentically, hear their tone, their concern, their worry, clearly hear their message and their needs. Being fully present and listening authentically does take practice. It's very easy to get distracted. So I often just leave all those little notifications off so I'm really in the moment. And the act of caring really can change oneself. It has the potential to change others and the culture of the environment. As we have all experienced over the past year and a half, COVID has severely impacted the anxiety levels of our students and our colleagues. So taking these moments, creating these moments can really make a difference. Anytime I have that opportunity to interact with students, I think about, this is the moment that I can really kind of make a difference for them. The next topic focuses on Caritas Process 1, caring for self and others with loving kindness. So when we care for self and others, we do it with kindness and with forgiveness. We've all heard about the need for self-care, especially over the past year and a half. And we've also hear that we need to prioritize our own self-care in order for us to care for others, right? So what we did here was we went into some breakout sessions in groups of 3 or 4 individuals, and we shared caring moments that we experienced with students, with other colleagues. And so that was for probably about 5 or 6 minutes. And then we came back and we shared some highlights with the group. And then we had a poll and basically asking, how well do we each care for ourselves? Overall, the results showed most attendees did not prioritize that self-care. For example, one person shared how they checked email late into the evening. So unless we care for ourselves with loving kindness, which I'll discuss shortly a little bit more, we can't really create those transpersonal caring relationships and caring moments quite as well as easily. So we did another poll. Dr. King asks if there was a difference between caring for self versus self-care. So the results were split about half and half. So self-care, those are like the activities that we do as if it's on a to-do list. Some common self-care practices, also called micro practices, could be like running, stretching, centering meditation, daily intentions, kind of writing the 3 things that were good today, drawing, journaling, listening to music, all these things that kind of just take us away from that daily routine, that daily stress, right? But when we have items on a to-do list, we know how to-do lists go, right? There is a chance that some may not get completed and other priorities take over, right? And then there's caring for self, which is like a deeper sense of loving and care towards oneself. It's like an intention you set for the day when you get out of bed. how you will actually care for yourself that day, how you will be kind to yourself and forgive yourself. And what I mean by forgiving, it's, for example, being kind to yourself when you miss that daily work. You don't get aggravated with yourself if the day doesn't go as planned. Like, it's okay that maybe you miss a day or a week of whatever practice you intended to do. That's what I mean by forgiving. And so the next topic was caring, healing modalities and micro practices. We did another poll asking if the participants were willing to incorporate at least one micro practice into the daily routine. And certainly everybody was willing to do that. And they were, it was suggested to complete that self-care covenant to, you know, kind of form a little contract with oneself to try to, you know, make sure to help you follow through with your goals. And then we had just a closing summary of the session. And so for session 2, we opened with Dr. King opened with a brief meditation. And then the next topic, we had time for sharing about our caring behaviors. So we started, there was a poll. The question asked, have you noticed a difference in how you feel since you incorporated self-care into your daily routine? The responses were about 50-50. Since it was only about a month from the previous session, there wasn't a lot of time to kind of start a new habit. Dr. King did make a point that it takes about 21 days to create those neural pathways to benefit from adding in a new habit like this. I know last 2020, I think summer of 2020 or April, somewhere during the pandemic, I started exercising every day, and I disliked exercising, but I knew I needed to do something different. I needed a way to stop my day and not work so late. And I created times of the day that I would stop work for the day, whether it was 5 or 5:30, I would just keep working. So I created these, and now after over a year of doing this, it really is so much easier. And for me to say that, like, I actually look forward to stopping my day to exercise, really says a lot for like how habits can become part of your routine. Actually, let me go back. So we went into breakout sessions, and then we shared our experiences on how we cared for ourselves. And so when we came back to the main groups, we discussed the facilitators and barriers for daily self-care and care for self. And returning back to Caritas number 1, loving kindness to self, it can help us remind us that it is okay to not follow through with that contract that you made for yourself. So multiple ways of knowing was our next topic. And some examples are of ways of knowing are empirics, that's scientific knowledge, aesthetics, which is the art, personal knowledge, ethics, intuition, and experiential. So these are different ways of knowing, help us illustrate how we understand the world, situations, our students, our colleagues, problems, and overall. And we can help our students expand their ways of knowing by integrating these concepts into their coursework. For example, in nursing, we can have a student include the aesthetics way of knowing into their portfolio. At the end of their program, they create a portfolio. And we can also have questions about the art of nursing or even intuition. I've added questions about intuition into discussions, assignments. So teaching and learning strategies using a caring science and also the Caritas communication. We talked about some strategies for teaching and learning and communicating, beginning with centering, being present, listening, and responding authentically. We reviewed the importance of analyzing the language we use in syllabi, emails, policies. We did a choice poll, not choice poll, but a poll asking participants if they were willing to incorporate at least one Caritas communication strategy into teaching and learning. And certainly everybody was interested in making those adjustments. It's not easy. It does take a lot of time to really evaluate how you write and existing documents and how we can make them a little bit kinder and more caring. So sharing challenges encountered during the teaching learning process. So Dr. King shared with us 5 different case studies of student situations, problems for attendees to work through in small groups. So for example, one scenario would be a student who wants to change the process for the nursing pinning ceremony. Another was about a student who has been late with all assignments, does not respond to any communication, and is in jeopardy of failing. So we went into breakout sessions, about 3 or 4 attendees in each, and the groups were directed to create solutions to identify at least 3 subjective ways of knowing to gain a full understanding of the situation. Then to determine how Caritas processes number 5 and 6 are relevant to the situation. And those are authentic presence, supportive of the expression of positive and negative feelings, using all ways of knowing. So the groups crafted sample emails and conversations and shared them with the entire group. And they also put them in the chat box so people could actually see the wording. The attendees found the activity was really helpful as they were able to think through the problem using a different kind of process and a different language that focused on a more caring approach. And then closing. So session number 3. So this began with, again, a gratitude meditation, just a few minutes. And then we asked, we had a poll, and we asked attendees to name one Caritas communication strategy that they have used since the last session. And so they shared that they shared examples in the chat box, and they found it to be really helpful to have really kind of thought a little bit more about how we address students, especially when there's problems, right? And so this next topic here, sharing, like I said, sharing and learning from the caring signs in the online classroom. So what I'd like to go to, actually, sorry about this. I think I need to go, here we go. Some communication strategies. And I do want to mention that these slides are from Dr. King's presentation. I did not write these myself. So some communication strategies to being fully present. Statements like, I am here for you. My thoughts are with you during this difficult time. And acknowledging a shared humanity, like I have struggled too. And I've shared these in my emails and my conversations. I can share with you what worked for me if you'd like some of my advice. Attend to the individual. You showed a lot of insight when you said, please stay in touch. I enjoy working with you. I often write in my emails, keep in touch with me if you continue to have problems. Asking for clarification. Is there anything else I can do to help? And just reaching out, just checking in. And please talk to me about what you envision for this project. How do you understand it? Acknowledge the challenges and point out favorable opportunities. So learning about this topic is difficult. We have a lot of support available to help you get through it. I can sense your frustration or disappointment, and I'm offering to help work with you so you can make this easier. And so here, these are creating a trusting, caring academic environment. So here are some actions by faculty and students that can impact the level of trust. And this goes along with Caritas process number 4, developing and sustaining the helping, trusting, caring relationship. So faculty who create a course that is really easy to navigate will really increase that trust, that the student knows what to do. When faculty is present and reaches out, prompt responses and thorough feedback, and creating spaces in the class that aren't just academically related. Like for example, this session during intros in my bio, a lot of students referred to about food and their favorite dishes, like different things like that. So I started a forum like Passion for Cooking, And I've had other students share pictures and recipes, and it's just kind of a nice little extra in the class, just a little fun thing. And so for students, trust is increased when materials are created skillfully, something that is applicable to their daily work. And new learners. I get students who come into the graduate program that are brand new to Moodle, brand new to Delhi. And so giving that extra support is essential, right? And then trust goes both ways between faculty and students. So if students put forth a poor effort to engage with the course and don't take feedback, things like that, then that trust erodes. Students who do not return communication, or those who do not respond right away, that can erode trust. And so these are some strategies to incorporate into your own teaching. Now these are the 10 Caritas processes, and without going into what each one is, you can kind of get a gist of it. So being authentically present, offering self in a friendly way, paying attention to self and others and being in that moment. Kindness, authentic presence during all interactions, and paying attention to some comments in the discussions and taking students aside and addressing that. Consistently building trust. Wait to press that send or save button. I reread my emails multiple times, making sure that I'm positive, I'm upbeat, supportive, encouraging, things like that. Assess the reliability of the materials. I often ask students for their feedback. Was this clear? Is there a way to make this better? So it's easier to understand. Being sensitive to students who are struggling. I've had students who it's the first time they've worked on a computer, so you can imagine the amount of support. Creating those caring learning environments, respecting human dignity. Safely and efficiently navigating the vastness of the internet. It can be overwhelming. And making those opportunities to connect through caring activities. And so just to finish up on session 3, Dr. King finished up on sharing information about the Caritas Coach Education Program and other opportunities at the Watson Caring Science Institute. And then just the closing. And so session 4, this was an informal session and general discussion. There wasn't a PowerPoint presentation. We followed up on the use of self-care practices, how people were doing with that. And we discussed how to integrate caring science language into grading rubrics and syllabus in the syllabus. So here's an example from one of our discussion grading rubrics. This is initially how it looked. So the initial post is not substantive and or does not. You can read through this. So you can note the all caps and the not, the negatives. I've highlighted those areas that are more abrasive, more negative, more non-caring or kind. And then the initial post addresses less than 50% of the DQ components and so on. So you can see the difference. It just has a better, kinder feel to it. And Lynn walked us through this, and we can use this example to work on other documents as well, right? So we reviewed the language So to summarize, Dr. King's program incorporates concepts from her caring theory, offered faculty and staff fundamental skills on how to better connect with our students and of course our colleagues, but to help them get through difficult times, help them feel cared for, and help them to be successful in class. So through authentic presence, authentic listening, loving kindness to oneself and others, and committing to self-care and care for self, we can create transformative and transpersonal caring moments, leading to trusting, caring relationships and environments. And this is the reference. And that is the presentation. Any questions, anybody?
Thanks, Jamie. I have to say, before anybody else chimes in, that a consistent theme in these meetings so far this semester has been, what are we doing to support faculty and students in terms of their, just everyone being kind of having low morale, sort of how do we facilitate better, just dealing with the collective trauma that everybody has been experiencing over the past year and a half, and just strategies for that. So this was really helpful. I think, and the thing I like most about it is that this framework can be wrapped around pretty much anything that we do in terms of workshop or training, right? It doesn't have to be just about teaching and learning, although it kind of fits obviously very nicely into that. So thank you for, we didn't plan it this way, but it worked out really well.
Yeah. It works for your personal interactions, just reframing and being gentle and kind.
What questions do you have? I know there was a request that you put that the website in the chat, if you could.
The presentation?
The presentation's recorded, so I don't know. If you want to share that as well, but I meant the Weebly website.
The Weebly website, sure.
Yeah.
I practice too, I guess, because when it's full screen, you can't share. I don't know. Yeah. Let me just make a note here.
So any questions for Jamie? Comments, thoughts?
I have a question. Hi, Jamie. I'm Ellen. I was wondering, of the people who participated in all 4 of the sessions, did you get a feel for, how much they intended to make any kinds of changes in any of their practices, or, whether they felt this was stuff they could incorporate into their daily practice, I guess?
They did feel like it was something they could incorporate. I think they admitted that it is a process. It just like self-care, right? You can't just snap your fingers and that's it. But I think if you can, they felt like if they can kind of like target one thing and try to master that, like for example, the email communication, and trying to really look at the words that we're using, and have we offered some kind of support here, or just I hope your week is going well, small little adjustments. So actually that 4th session was kind of like that follow-up, which was like a few months after the first 3. So it did give them some time to incorporate some of those practices, and they did feel like there was some movement, but it is something that does take time and practice. Just like for me as a nurse, all these years of all these interactions with patients in need, and it requires consistent effort and attending to that type of approach.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
There's some good comments in the chat. Talia said that this shows compassion might be intuitive, but it also can be learned and channeled.
Yes.
Great stuff. Yeah, I think that is so true. Especially if you have a large class, right? So it may be a little bit more intuitive to be compassionate, especially to people that we care about or that we know, right? But when you're teaching 100 students, you could probably get compassion fatigue very easly.
You can, because you have a lot of students in need, and so you can be stretched really thin. And you've got all different kinds of needs, whether it's the new learner to the program or somebody, and like our students right now, these are all nurses, they're all being mandated to work, working doubles, and they barely have time to even sleep and get their schoolwork done. So we're really being stretched to support, and we feel it. We feel the stress. We all feel it, and by doing this with all of our interactions with our colleagues is helpful. So.
Some other just kudos comments there. Communication suggestions are useful and professionally and personally, Nancy mentioned, and Dave said, I appreciate the difference between self-care and caring for self.
Right.
Any other questions for Jami, or anybody want to share? Maybe if you're doing something similar, or thoughts about how you might incorporate this into the workshops that you do for faculty? I actually have a question, Jami. I mean, so, I think one of the things that folks might be a little hesitant about doing, incorporating some of these principles into their workshops or trainings, they might feel like, well, I'm not, like, I know how to teach faculty how to use the LMS, or I know how to, structure discussions or create rubrics, but I feel a little less comfortable also wrapping this advice around it. I don't know, any thoughts about that, or any kind of, I mean, is this something that you could see kind of infusing all workshops, or is it really best left to someone that has this kind of expertise? Or I don't know, what are your thoughts about that?
I think having a basic understanding of the caring theory gives you a sense of the importance of all the different aspects of being present, right? Taking care of yourself, because that is so important. Really listening, and like all of those core things will all together help infuse and create those documents that just come across as not abrasive, but as easy to read and calm, and doesn't make you feel like, oh, well, I've definitely read some policies like, or a grading rubric is like, course, whatever, a failure will result from blah, blah, blah. Like, you're beginning with course failure or whatever failure, like rewording that can make all the difference with how a student or a colleague will read a policy statement or an assignment direction. But I think having an understanding of the core concepts helps you be able to infuse that framework into what you do every day. So.
Diane's asking if you have maybe a recommendation for one resource that sums up the CPs and provides sort of practical examples.
I do have that document of Gene Watson's core concepts, and they are all outlined. So I'm happy to share that document. What would be the best way to share that?
If you share it with me, I could certainly share it out.
Yep.
So, but if you want to put your email in the
Sure.
chat, folks can email you directly as well.
Sure.
So anything else going on that, we have about 15 minutes left here. Anything else, any other, and also to the website, if you could share that too. And if you could share that in chat, Jami, that would be helpful. So folks can just have
That's
it.
in there.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Any thoughts, questions, concerns, anything you want to ask the group, or what's going on as we get into November and sort of the home stretch of things this semester? Feel free to just jump in there. Burnout is real. Yes, certainly. Ed? No, you turn on your camera, so I thought that was like raising the hand. That's what you get for putting your camera. All right. Well, I'll give you 15 minutes back if there isn't anything anybody wants to bring up, and just sort of thank Jami for her excellent presentation. It's good to see everybody. We do have another one of these in 2 weeks. That one will be, let's let's see who's presenting in 2 weeks. It will be folks from Nassau talking about helping neophobic faculty grapple with technology. So almost that, I mean, some of the principles that we talked about today certainly could be applied to working with neophobic faculty. I kind of figured what that, I kind of think I knew what that meant, but then I looked it up and it just, fear of new things. I think we're going to have to put those skills to test with the migration to the new LMS. So that should be a good one in 2 weeks, next 2 weeks from yesterday. So it'll be a Tuesday at 10. So I hope to see many of you then. And thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, take care, everybody.